Hi, dear co-creators. So I just had a break in between the dark chocolate peanut butter cup, in between my sessions that was unexpected. And I was kind of doing the like, what to do. And there are many things that sounded like responsible to do, but I really wanted to make a video. And that's what sounded most exciting. So that's what I'm going to do. Also, having coffee and chocolate sounded very exciting. This is actually not coffee, it's called Dandy Blend, and it's like a dandelion root coffee substitute. It's really delicious. So, thing about making videos is that I love it so much that now I have like 22,000 video ideas. I'm picking one when I'd like to make like 22,000. Feels a little tricky, but this is the one that I'm staring at right now. So I'm going to say that one, and then I want to pair it with a beautiful poem piece of writing by one of my favorite prophets. I really feel that they're a prophet, Alok Menon. So I'm going to start with this. So this is from sorry, I just really want to take the time to enjoy the chocolate. When you're in a moment where you're like, I love this moment, even if it's about chocolate and coffee, to me, that's a gift, like to the collective, right? Because that means my frequency is like so like connected and present and loving. And it just feels like an offering. Okay. So this is a thought from Neville Goddard. If you have been watching any of my videos, you know I'm on a Neville Goddard kick. Also, can we just love the depth of my voice right now? Like, I feel like I'm really allowing myself to be in my low voice, and I love it. It feels so good. There are many times when I think out of habit or like out of insecurity or out of like trying to play a part that I think is going to be more effective or safer, I will I will make my voice higher. Um, there's something really nice right now about how low it's allowing me to just be. It's making me very happy. All right, so this is the Neville Goddard concept based off of his stuff about sin that I feel like is like a puzzle that I'm doing right now that feels like it's going to be like just the right thing that lines up with my absolute innocence thoughts. Um, because it's like so magical. Okay, so the concept is that sin means missing the mark, like in archery, like you don't hit the bullseye. And that Neville Goddard's thing is that the Bible is like a allegory for parts of ourself, and that every story character is like a different part of yourself, and it's like all just an allegory to teach you about like your psyche and your um how to like work with your mindset, and that Jesus is your imagination, um and that your like when you tap into your imagination, that's when you're tapping into your like Christ, like incarnation and making like transmuting things from spirit into material, which I love. And his understanding of sin is that sin is when we don't realize, like make real the person who we have the capacity to be. Okay, so let's say that I have learned from my like social programming that it's not cool for me to be trans. Okay, for example, I had the most interesting conversation with someone yesterday about that, by the way, which I think I'm going to end up being on their podcast. I was like, it's dicey at first, but I think it's maybe going to be cool about being trans. But okay, so when I make real that which is within me, that is like the absence of sin. When I do not, because of fear or social conditioning, which is based in fear, then I am sinning. Okay, so it's like the literal opposite of what I was taught. So being trans for me is realizing that part of me that doesn't connect with gender, right? Which also, P.S., I am learning about Hermeticism. And the seventh principle of Hermeticism is, I think it's the seventh, don't quote me on that, is that all things are masculine and feminine, that there's no binary. So I'm like, that is what my body knew. My body knew that like it didn't have a gender and it didn't have a binary, and that it had all of it. So by realizing this, I am, in Neville Goddard's words, forgiving sin. So I am doing what Christ modeled. I'm forgiving sin. For me, I feel like it's more like I am making sin, like I'm like eliminating sin. I don't know what the etymology of forgive is, so maybe I'll look that up. But when I see myself as my fullest capacity, like as my fullest potential, and then I like live into that vision or imagination, I am realizing my true self and therefore eliminating sin. When I look at myself as limited or as less than unlimited potential, then I am sinning because I'm condemning myself to something that isn't true, right? And the same goes for other people. So when I look at other people and I'm like, I criticize something about them, they really should do A, B, or C. I think that's kind of weird that that person did that. Or I'm a little disappointed that so and so did that, right? When I project out my judgment, I'm also seeing them. I'm missing the mark of them. I'm like seeing them as something that they're not, and therefore I'm sinning, right? So I can forgive both my own sin and others' sin when I see others as who they truly are, and when I see myself as who I truly am. And what I love about this is that it's like a perfect overlay of the nervous system stuff. When I see myself as my behavior and judge myself, then I'm not seeing accurately. When I see myself through the lens of the nervous system, I'm like, oh, you were in a defense state, so you were in your lizard brain, so you couldn't use your executive functioning to make a wise mind choice. So why would I judge you off of something that was literally like, why should I say you should have used your wise mind if I know that you didn't have access to your wise mind? Like, That's like saying to someone like who has, you know, a black shirt on, like, you should have a pink shirt on. Like, they don't have a pink shirt on. Like, that doesn't, it doesn't line up. Okay. And when I look at someone else and I'm like, you shouldn't have said that thing about me, or you shouldn't have told that other person this thing about me, or you shouldn't have spoken to me that way, or you should have treated me this way. I'm basically saying like, oh, you should have been doing something that your brain did not have the capacity to do. Because if they were doing those defensive things, then, or attacking things, it means their system was in a defense state and they were in their lizard brain and they didn't have the capacity to use their executive functioning or the wise mind. So both of those systems see us as absolutely innocent. We are in our true selves, that safety, that unlimited potential. We're all the names of God, right? Omnipotence, which means all powerful, omniscient, all knowing, omnipresent, everywhere at once, all the other names of God, right? We are that. That is our capacity, our potential. When we really accept that we are those things, we have eliminated sin or forgiven sin. So, and then we can treat everybody like that, right? So every time that I get information from my body that, like, you know, like the book I've mentioned before, Diana Herself, which is an allegory by Martha Beck, when the character gets the stabbies or like the pain in her stomach, when we get any sort of message from our body that says like, I am not at ease right now, you are not resonating the truth, you're not seeing yourself as the person that you know yourself to be, my body will say, hey, that's actually not true. And it'll communicate with me, right? And that gives me the opportunity to be like, oh, let me look at this. So I always say, you know, like animal and then spiritual. So the animal body says like, ooh, that didn't feel true. And then I go, all right, thanks so much. Let me take a look at it from the spiritual perspective. And in between there, how I get from animal to spiritual is by doing a nervous system exercise, right? Or whatever my body's calling for. And when someone else does something that I'm like, ugh, again, same process. I go, oh, thank you, body. Do a something, however many somethings it takes, right? A meditation, some ice, some breathing, a walk, some journaling, whatever is right for your body. And then I get to go, okay, where was I seeing them as not who they really are? And for example, I just had a person do something in my life and I was very startled. I've been working with the concept of anger for the past few days and I was very startled. I felt like super angry at this person, which I don't have a lot of experiences with anger. So that's why it was startling with me for me. I was like, all right, what's the information? Like, I know there's information here. What's the information? And I realized, okay, she is communicating to me that I continue. She was like limiting someone else, and that made me upset in their gender expression. And I was like, okay, you must still be limiting yourself in your gender expression in some way. You must still be conveying to yourself that this doesn't quite work. You must be still suppressing yourself in some way. And that's the sin, is the like not allowing yourself to have the realized potential. So anyways, nice transition to, I feel like sometimes when I'm just learning concepts, when I try to express them, they don't make as much sense. So if that just sounded like gobbledygook to you, then like no worries. This is the note I wrote myself. They are the people and I am the person that I would like us to be. So they are the people that I would like them to be. I am the person that I would like me to be. When I realize that, I have forgiven sin. So whoever I think I should be, or whoever I say I would like to be, that's actually who I am, right? If I'm a person who has a podcast and I don't have a podcast, then that's sin. Not in a like going to hell, but in a like I'm going to be feeling like I'm tortured until I realize that part of myself. So heaven is the realization, hell is the suppression, right? So if I'm a person who wants to have short hair and I don't, then I'm suppressing, right? I'm going to be in my own personal hell. If I'm interacting with you as if you're not the person that I think you should be, let's say I think you should be totally accepting of all people, and I'm interacting with you as if you're not, then I'm suppressing you and me, right? And then I'm going to be in my everlasting torture chamber, right? And if I'm like, oh, you just said this thing to me, but I see you as your capacity. I see you as the person who is all accepting. And I know that that is more true than what you're presenting to me. And it must just be an opportunity for me to be like, oh, interesting. I just want to reinforce and rewire and like not get stuck back into the victim thing and the blaming thing. Okay. So now let me read this gorgeous, gorgeous Alok poetry. So Alok is, like I said, one of my favorite people. I have a painting of them right here on my desk so that I can look at them. They are on Instagram, Alok V Menon. And I got to see them twice in real life, which was very, very special to me. Look at that gorgeous picture. They're a poet, they're a speaker, comedian, actor, magical prophet. Okay, so they're reflecting on color here. Color was my first language. Question: what's your favorite color? Answer: all of them. Which is just, I feel like such kindred spirits, because my favorite color is rainbow. And when I was like 10, we were like remodeling the house and I was supposed to pick a color for my bedroom. And I was like, blue, pink, orange, yellow. I wanted rainbow. And they like found this beautiful actually wallpaper that had flowers of every color. So I got all the colors, which was lovely. Okay. What is your favorite color? Answer: all of them. Each color a professor of beauty. Color taught me a grammar of infinity, that there are potentially limitless ways of being, many that we can't even see yet. A syntax of simultaneity. Just these words. That colors can and do coexist without underwhelming each other. It makes me blush because it's like so gorgeous. Okay. I'm tearing up as well, so I can't see as well. Okay, hold on. A syntax of simultaneity, that colors can and do coexist without underwhelming each other. In the color medley, we discover a transcendent love, one that doesn't require winnowing us down, but instead invites expansion. I desperately seek a more colorful world, one in which we refuse the temptation to reduce one another to rote categorization, and instead allow ourselves to be colorful. Appreciate that each of us has our own aura, our own unique, unfurling way of being, a vibrancy, a sensibility, a kinetic energy, live art. What happens when we allow ourselves to be colorful? We might end up magnetizing the people we were meant to meet all along, including ourselves. Can't even. I can't even. So I won't try to follow that. I love you. Mwah.